Hello and welcome to week 23 of Bits and Bobs, where we outline this week's best mods. First up today we have a new ENB configuration called the Goddess. The mod aims to bring a more stylised, beautiful, calming look to the land of Skyrim, and the author has been tweaking it over the last few months and now finally feels it's ready for release. The author has tried to make nights and dark interiors scarier and open spaces in daylight more mesmerising. And to achieve that effect, the author has put some emphasis on the lighting, making shadows darker and light sources brighter and more vibrant. And the overall outcome for the changes makes for realistic looking skin tones, embraces dungeon interiors and interesting skies, especially at dawn and dusk. The ENB can also be enhanced further with a bunch of different recommended mods which can be found on the mod page. Like most ENBs, it'll take a hit on your performance, and if it's too demanding you can try out an optional version which is slightly less detailed, but also less demanding. And like all ENBs, it comes down to whether you feel the outcome suits you as the player, but we think it's up there with the best of them.
And this week's second mod is another sword added to the Liliths Tools collection. Actually, technically this is a remake of the first sword that was added to the set. However, the author decided to keep the original sword and make it a key ingredient for crafting the newly designed, higher quality version of the Carver. The mod comes with a one-handed version, which can either be crafted in the standard size or larger size, and also a two-handed version. And in terms of damage, both types of the sword can stand against its Daedric counterpart, having a slightly lower base damage but a higher attack speed and critical rate. And the author plans to upgrade a few of the other older Lilith weapons and then eventually release them as a compilation, so keep an eye out for that.
And if you're the type that likes to play Skyrim as an archer, the LC Elite Archer armor may be for you. The armor set has primarily been designed for a future update to the mod creator's other mod, Become King of Riverhelm, but for now he's releasing it as a standalone mod for people to try out. The armor comes in both a light and heavy version and comes with all of the standard armor pieces plus arrows. It can be worn by both males and females, but was primarily made for males to wear, so keep that in mind. The light version of the armor shares its stats with glass armor, the heavy shares its stats with ebony, and the arrows have the same attack as glass arrows, so it's a mid to high level set. One thing that distinguishes this mod compared to the rest is the unique hood that the armor comes with. It's perfect for any archer types out there that want to keep things stealthy. The armor set uses high res textures and it definitely fits the archer theme. We hope we can see a custom made bow for the set in the future.
And now we have the silver armor set. If you think you recognise the set, then it's because the male version is taken from the armor worn by Soon, the NPC who guards the bridge to the Hall of Valor. The mod adds a standalone version of the armor, which is for both males and females. The author has also made it craftable at any forge under the miscellaneous tab, with each piece requiring a mixture of silver and steel ingots, as well as leather and leather strips. The stats of the set are similar to that of the Dwarven vanilla set, which is interesting to see because most authors usually go for Daedric as a starting point when choosing stats. And overall the mod does what it sets out to do, and it offers a nice alternative armour for mid-level players.
Next up today is the Silver Sword of Dragonblood mod. The mod adds both a one and two-handed silver sword. The mod creator was always disappointed with the original silver sword in Skyrim, so decided to make his own version, and the outcome is this new sword. The swords are craftable at any forge under the Daedric section, for a few silver ingots, a couple of steel ingots and 2 ebony ingots. You can also enhance the sword for 2 silver ingots. The mod isn't a replacer for the vanilla silver sword yet, but we might see a replacer version soon in the future. So currently both swords are standalone and you have the option to either install both of them or just one of the two separately. The sword itself is very well made, the design is very high res using 2K textures and the hilt of the sword is extremely detailed, featuring a dragon with its wings spread across the centre of it. The blade is highly polished and looks simple but very well made. It's a great alternative to the vanilla silver sword and is a definite improvement over the original.
And now we have a mod that attempts to add some incentive to use the sawmills in the game. If you've never used a lumber mill before, the way it works is you need to click on one of the stacked logs and then run over to the lever and press it to activate the saw. The log will then move along and be cut in half until it eventually falls off the edge onto the cut pile. And this is where the mod comes into play. Instead of just nothing happening afterwards, you're actually rewarded for taking the time to cut the log. The mod currently comes with 2 different versions, one that rewards you with 10 pieces of firewood and the other that rewards you with 20. And it's a subtle change, but it's the type of mod that adds something and takes away nothing, and we thought it made for a nice mod.
And the next mod for today is Pegasus and Alicorn Invade Skyrim. The mod adds 2 winged horses near the Whiterun stables. The 2 horses may look almost identical, but there's one thing that sets them apart. One of them has a horn on its head, effectively making it a unicorn, and the other doesn't, making it more of a Pegasus than the other. The mod is made by the same person that brought us the Akami follower mod that we spotlighted in the past, and the original texture for the horses has been taken from the unicorn mod that we also showcased in a previous mod spotlight. Wings have been added to the existing model to give the mounts a new and unique look. While the 2 mounts can't fly right now, the mod creator has written that they are planning on trying to get them flying in the future update. And the flying horses are very well made, so we thought we'd bring them to your attention so you can keep an eye on the mod for future updates. Along with getting them to fly, the mod creator has shown interest in making a Shadowmere and demonic version of the horse, and even a possible questline to go with them, so be sure to add the file on your track list over on Nexus.
And for today's final mod, we have a variant to the Dwarven rifle we saw last week. The mod adds 3 different versions of the rifles to the game, named Rifle 1, 2 and 3. All of the rifles are more powerful than a Dwarven crossbow, with the first being only slightly more powerful and the third being the most powerful out of the 3. All of the crossbows can be crafted at a forge under the Dwarven category, where you'll also be able to forge the 5 bullet types added by the mod. The basic bullet is the standard ammunition for the rifles. The mod also adds bullets that deal extra fire, ice, shock and holy damage. The new rifles also come with their own sound effect, which if you find to be a little too loud, then you can download the optional add-on, which makes it a little easier on the ears. And the rifle marks the end of today's bits and bobs. And as always, if you enjoyed any of the mods, then remember to leave an endorsement or favourite on Nexus or the workshop. And if you haven't already seen it, then click the annotation on screen now to see the Harry Potter themed magic mod we covered on Friday. And thanks for watching.